by the sea, that a maiden there lived with whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved with a love that was more than love, I of my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels not half so happy in heaven, when envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in the sepulchre there by the sea. Okay.
All right.
That
Hi,
makes
my
sense.
name is Madeline. Most people call me Maddie, and I really like horror films. That's
All
really all there
right.
is to say.
I'm Julianne, and I'm a big wuss when it comes to horror movies or anything scary. I don't even like walking around in the dark, but I can appreciate it, and I love Halloween.
And I am Chris. I'm okay with horror movies. I'm not scared, but I do feel sometimes at night, will this come to get me while I'm sleeping?
And that's pretty much a fair concern for anyone at night. First order of business, I figured we'd all each pick a topic of a holiday or a celebration devoted to the dead, or pretty much what most people would associate with Halloween. And Chris, what was yours?
Mine was the Hungry Ghost Day.
Okay, and Julianne?
Dias de la Muerte, Day of the Dead.
That's a good one. And I got Samhain, the ancient Celtic Gaelic celebration.
Hungry Ghost Festival, really kind of chilling in a way, is people basically making offerings and celebrating the dead so as they don't get possessed by them on, I believe it is July 15th,
Huh.
is the this day for them. They make offerings to the dead, including food and burning money. Well, their fake money
Well, yeah.
to yes, I was slang.
I was like, really?
Yeah, not real money because that could probably that's, I imagine very illegal.
Where do they celebrate that at?
They celebrate that in China, Japan, a lot of Eastern countries, and it is celebrated by Buddhists and Taoists.
Well, that sounds fun.
It is also scary.
Where do they get the food offerings at?
They mostly just they put up food offerings and it's very advised that people who are alive don't eat that so they don't get
So do they leave it
cursed.
like in cemeteries or?
Cemeteries, it's offering just it's a big celebration. They got offering stands and whatnot.
Like who's the guy eating the sushi in like the cemetery, right?
So, what are the consequences if you don't make an offering?
uh, it is believed that if you do not do this to celebrate your ancestors, that they will wander the earth and just kind of cause havoc in your life, bad luck, misfortune, that whole shtick,
So,
Dishonor on your family.
dishonor on your family.
so pretty much what your grandparents do if you don't invite them over for Christmas.
Exactly. Exactly. They will spite the hell out of you, and when it comes time, they will find a way to make you suffer.
Our, well, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool festival, huh?
It is neat.
Do they dress up?
I don't believe so. I mean, it's do people dress up for festivals? I mean, of course, there's,
Oh yeah.
but for the most part, it's a pretty grandy holiday. I'd actually like to go there for that. Maybe not to China because China scares me, but Japan definitely go to a. In Japan, it's referred to as the Bon Festival.
Bon Festival. Hmm.
Yes.
And Julianne, what about the Day of the Dead?
Dios de la Muerte. Alright.
Uh,
Yeah, this is a Mexican holiday, but it's celebrated a lot throughout South America and even in the United States too. So, like I know in Austin they have a pretty big celebration for it.
Austin
It
celebrates
begins.
everything.
Yeah, that's true. It begins on November 1st and it ends November 2nd. And it's like a celebration of past family members and friends that have died. So you're pretty much like celebrating their death and their life. It involves like they built altars to the dead and they go and they clean up their gravesite and they decorate it and they leave offerings, which is pretty cool. Like they leave sugar skulls, which is skulls made out of sugar.
I've always wanted to eat one of those.
Oh yeah, man. And then they leave marigold flowers, and they'll leave like some of the things that the person like to eat or drink when they died. So like for me, it would be like milk and cookies or something. And then like they'll leave possessions, and like the most important thing is like leaving a photo of that person.
Well, that's very sweet. It's a little bit less. Honestly, it's a little bit less morbid than I expected it to be.
It's actually, yeah, it's just like a fun party thing. Although the thing that's kind of sad is like, so November 1st is called Dia de los Inocentes,
Inocentes.
Inocentes, which is honoring dead children.
Aw.
Yeah, and they decorate their graves with like white orchids and baby's breath. And then the next day, November 2nd, is where they honor the adults and they just they decorate it with all their possessions and flowers. So, and then I think it's the ghosts come or the souls come in November 1st and then they leave November 2nd.
So, is there any repercussions for not celebrating that?
No, not really. I think it's just a nice thing people do. They
Everyone
death
just
a little.
knows you're the jerk.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the less evil version of the bomb.
It's a fiesta, pretty much.
That's
Well, I've never seen an unhappy Dia de los Muertos skeleton in a painting, so.
Exactly. They're always celebrating, dancing. They got hats on. I mean, you can't be sad in a hat.
Oh, who's sad in a hat? Let's be honest.
I certainly am not. I'm wearing a hat right now.
Pretty cool. Oh, and I forgot. I also looked up where it originated from, and it originated from the Aztecs when they used to celebrate the goddess of the underworld, which is pretty cool.
It's interesting how all around the world there seems to be some kind of celebration that heavily involves death in some way.
Yeah, and it's interesting how some of them it's more of like with Chris's Eastern Europe or Eastern Asian one, it was more of fear, whereas in like South America, it's like happy fun times.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll move on to the one I'm supposed to be talking about today. It's Samhain, and some people say Samhain, but that is apparently not how you're supposed to pronounce it at all.
Sounds like a neighbor.
And they, in ancient Celts, believed that this was the time of the year when the veil between the living and the dead kind of overlapped or became thinner, so it was easier to communicate with them. They actually did animal sacrifices sometimes. Mostly they would sacrifice stags because it was a symbol of royalty. And I think this one's really similar to Halloween, except, they had bonfires, and people would put out all the fires inside their houses, and they'd go out and they'd have these huge bonfires, and they'd dance to sort of ward away the spirits of the angry dead. And then they'd take the coals home at the end of the night to light a new fire in the morning, and they thought it would bring good luck to them. This is basically like the Gaelic New Year.
Wow.
That's really cool. Taking the coals out of the fire part is really interesting. That's cool. Would they throw like offerings or anything into the fire, or was it just wood?
Well, from what I read, when Rome started to occupy Ireland, they kind of combined it with a festival of Pomona, who was like the goddess of fruits and trees, because they had a freaking goddess for everything. And that's when they started kind of doing, more things involving sacrifices and burning fruits, trees. And that's actually where apple bobbing and things of that nature came from, because apples represented the goddess Pomona. But they were also afraid of the dead, too.
Was this on Halloween? I don't remember the date you said.
Samhain is October 31st. Halloween is October 31st. So
I
yeah.
dare say that is the most evil holiday we have expressed yet. There's some dark stuff, Madeline.
Yeah, it's a time of death. It's a time of rebirth. It really just depends on whether you're a glass half full kind of person, I guess.
He is not.
I'm not.
So have either of y'all watched any scary movies recently?
Oh, what is the last one you said?
No, but I watched a lot of Supernatural.
Oh yeah, well tell us about it.
I don't know what's going on with that show right now.
Oh, yeah, it's really hard to say. If you watched the show earlier on, I'd say it's a really scary show, and then as it goes on, you suddenly realize that nothing is going to kill the main characters ever, so it just kind of gets less and less scary.
Lost its bite.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's like the main storylines with it used to just kind of be like them running around and fighting these really scary, beings, and now it's always just constantly them, like, saving the world from the apocalypse.
Okay. Well, I mean so you'd say it's more adventure than horror then?
As of right
turned
now,
into
yes.
that, yeah.
It's turned into, Julianne always makes a joke, the Hardy Boys. They're like the Hardy Boys versus evil.
That sounds like a pretty apt description from what I've seen. I've only really ever remember one episode, and it was this guy who turned into all the Universal monsters.
Like a combination of all the monsters?
Well, no, like, he turned into Dracula, then he turned into the Mummy.
Oh!
I think he was like a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really ever explain exactly what he was.
I think it was a shapeshifter. They did this, like, one episode about a shapeshifter, and it was, like, mega dumb. I just remember all he would turn into was, like, a dog, and that was it.
That sounds like True Blood.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch just because the more wacky episodes, there's like an episode where wax figures are coming to life and killing people.
Oh, that sounds fun.
President Lincoln killing people.
Oh, yeah.
James Dean.
They did a Groundhog's Day episode where one of the guys just keeps dying for like 3 years.
Man, I can't handle Groundhog Day themed stories.
What? Those are the best. Like, those are some of my favorites.
I just start to get so frustrated.
What, repetition?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anytime I have, like, a really bad day, I always feel like, right before I go to bed, I'm always like, is this going to be a groundhog situation? Like, can I just win the lottery tomorrow?
Well, what if everyone around you staged it to make you think that you were experiencing Groundhog Day?
Oh, like that Adam Sandler movie. Oh, my God. How frustrating. Oh.
50 First Dates.
Yeah.
I love that movie, but it's not horror, so we're not going to talk about it.
What about you? Have you watched anything scary? I'm sure you have.
Oh, me? Actually, this afternoon I watched a really weird movie from the 70s called Psychomania. And it was about this biker gang, and the head of the biker gang, his mom, I think she had a deal with the devil or something, and she didn't die. So he decided to do this thing where they all killed themselves, and they were going to meet around these 7 stones when they came back from the dead. It was bizarre.
Were like the 7 stones relevant? Like, what?
Well, it's a British movie, so I guess it was a playoff of the Stonehenge.
Okay, that makes sense. Are you sipping on like cola or something?
I'm drinking tea.
Oh,
yeah,
me too.
so is Julianne.
Well, what about you, Chris? Have you watched anything recently?
Oh, the most recent scary thing I've probably watched is John Carpenter's The Thing, probably.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one. I actually forced Julianne to watch that one.
It was really good. I really liked that movie.
Oh, I'm surprised you were able to sit through it because it's so scary.
I know. We watched it during the daytime.
She did it for Kurt Russell.
I did it for Kurt Russell. I love Kurt Russell.
He does shine in that movie.
He shines in every movie.
Yeah.
Shines everywhere.
He's just very shiny.
He's somewhere in Hollywood right now blending some civilians.
Yeah, I think John Carpenter really likes working with Kurt Russell, or he did in the 80s anyway.
The 80s.
What?
The 80s.
What a great decade for horror.
Yes. Great and terrible. My favorite part is just when they start getting paranoid. They start getting paranoid and turning on each other. It just takes a really great turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The constant, is it him? Is it him? Is it
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I like that too. The paranoia, the kind of sense of isolation, even though there are multiple characters.
Yep. Who can forget Windows, the guy who looks suspiciously like Hyde from that '70s show?
I personally really love the special effects in that movie. I think they aged well.
Yeah, I watched it on Blu-ray. It aged beautifully. It looks substantially awesome on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like special effects.
Yeah, they like stood the test of time, no problem.
Definitely.
Have either of y'all seen the remake? Or I'm sorry, not remake, but really kind of prequel.
Yeah, the prequel. I did not. I heard good things, heard bad things. But have you seen it?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good. I mean, I walked in thinking it was a remake, but when I found out it was a prequel, I enjoyed it much more. Yeah.
It's about the team from the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah, with the Swedish, I think he was Swedish guy who came in shooting the dog and
Yeah.
yeah.
Chasing him in the
Spoilers.
helicopter.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll put a spoilers warning on this. We reveal.
If you haven't seen John Carpenter's The Thing from 30 years ago, please be careful.
Halloween memories.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
It's not fun. I don't like that.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Chris has got a great one.
I have horrible. I'll go last just because.
Okay, Julianne, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. It's like things from Halloween. Unfortunately, I didn't get into too much mischief because, as stated before, I'm a huge wiener when it comes to Halloween. Okay, so this is like a great example of my childhood, and my parents are very protective, and because of that, I've grown up in this little bit of like a shell. So I'm really scared of anything outside of my shell.
I think you're actually lucky because that way, when you experience a scary movie, it's scary for you.
It's true. It's truly frightening. But this is just like an example of this paranoia I remember is when I would always go trick or treating, and I went trick or treating to like a teacher's house of mine. It was like the cool elementary school teacher, and they had this big production where like her husband would jump out of the coffin, and they gave away cookies, like homemade cookies, which is so nice. So I get home and I get my cookies, and I'm like, all right, I can't wait to eat these cookies. And my mom was like, oh no, you can't eat those cookies. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why can't I eat these cookies? She's like, well, we really don't know what's in them.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could have used like extra chocolate or something,
Yeah, probably, right? My mom wouldn't allow me to eat any sort of baked goods or anything like outside of a wrapper, so I had to throw away the cookies. Super sad.
Aww.
And now for the rest of my life, anytime like a bake sale is going on, that is in the back of my mind. Like, what is really in those baked goods?
I know there's a needle in that muffin.
Oh man. Well, you know what? That's actually pretty common on Halloween. A lot of parents don't want their kids eating popcorn balls, cookies, or pennies.
Yeah, it's stuck with me, and I'll probably do the same thing to my kids one day, just not let them eat anything.
Yeah.
And paranoid. See if there's anything else. I don't know. I do really cool Halloween costumes. That's something.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I think Chris has mentioned something about y'all going as different couples.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We've since
we do really good Halloween costumes.
To be fair, I am the one that comes up with them. Since we started dating, we.
I came up with one of the best ones we've done so far.
What was that?
That was Julianne being Godzilla and me being a building.
Oh, I think I saw a picture of Julianne as Godzilla.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the Godzilla premiere wearing my Godzilla outfit.
Oh, it was adorable.
But yeah, we've done the building and Godzilla, and we were Ash and Pikachu one year. That was super cute.
For the readers out there, Chris and Julianne are going to pull up some pictures of them in their costumes, and I'm going to post them on the blog.
Yes.
I actually suggested for the Ash and Pikachu one, we take it a little darker and me throw like a chain around her neck, but she wouldn't go for it.
That is something weirdly sexual about that I don't like.
I don't know how you're seeing anything sexual about that.
Well, wait, were you wearing a Pikakini or something?
No, she wasn't.
No, I was just wearing like a shorts and
And a
a
baggy
shirt.
t-shirt, a baggy yellow t-shirt.
Yeah, I can still kind of see the mild, the mild bondage with a chain around her neck.
I didn't like that. It was uncomfortable.
That's a BDSM of mine.
Oh, and this past year we were Bob Ross, and I was a happy little tree.
Yeah,
Aw.
that was.
It was, yeah.
So a lot of people don't know who Bob Ross
Yeah,
was.
nobody knew who Bob Ross
Except
was.
the guy from Torchies. That was.
We went to like a taco place, and like one guy knew what Chris was, and some girl was like, "Are you a woodland fairy?" I was like, "No, I'm a tree."
Well, you know what? It's hard to tell the difference between woodland fairies and arbors.
What about you, Madeline? What kind of stories do you have?
One story that stands out to me, I was like, I think 3 or 4, and I had like all year I wanted to be the Little Mermaid, and
Aw.
yeah. But my mom, she did make a mermaid costume for me. It wasn't the Little Mermaid because she can't go Disney traditionalist. No, she can't. She's a costumer, so she had to just go crazy with it, and she gave me a huge blonde wig and like a cone that I had to hold on my head the whole night. It's twice my height. And there was this one guy when I went trick-or-treating, there was this one old guy dressed up like a witch at this huge cauldron with dry ice making smoke come out of it. And he told me he would eat me. And, as a 3 or 4-year-old, you gotta imagine I was absolutely terrified. And I cried, and I tried to run
Aw.
away, and the cone kept falling off my head.
What was this cone? What was this purpose of this cone?
I don't know. My mom doesn't even remember why she put a cone on my head. Some kind of underwater crown, I guess, in the magical sea world.
Maybe she did like a test. Like, will she actually do this?
Well, she didn't even take me out that night because she was sick. She had her gay friend take me out.
Was he dressed fabulously?
I think he was just dressed in normal clothes. I think he was pretty upset at the end of the night, though, because the fin she'd made for me, I could barely walk in it. He had to carry me most of the night, too. And that's my Halloween memory.
All right, Chris.
Buckle up. This is going to be terrible. Let me start with some backstory. Have you heard of La Llorona?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Of course. Okay.
Who are you talking to here?
Everybody, I guess, who lives in the southern states of America knows of this. Is the weeping woman who drowned her children so she could be with a man that didn't want her. Okay? So, never hang out around the river at nighttime is the story behind this. So, Halloween, I think I'm around 8 or 9. My aunt and uncle take me and my cousins trick or treating, and this is at a time where it was cool because it was in the 90s. We were all riding in the back of a truck with no seatbelts.
Oh, typical 90s.
Typical 90s.
Classic 90s.
Anyway, back to the story. My aunt and uncle decided to take a detour, which I never really understood this. I kind of understand it now in retrospect. They decided to go out of their way to go down by the river, drive over a bridge, and cut the engine.
Oh.
Turn the lights out, and suddenly we're freaking out because we know exactly what is happening. Because we've been told this a billion times. And my aunt, I know it was her, but it still does not make this any less scary, proceeds to start weeping.
Oh my god.
And wailing. And I mean, the fact that she was an older lady made it all the more horrifying. Her deep undertone in the wail.
Oh god, were you guys like cuddled in the back, or were you frantically looking over on the side of the bed of the truck?
To get out of this, I threatened to murder her son. She then proceeded to tell him this is probably a bad idea, and they turned the engine back on.
So
and that's when the real weeping started.
Yeah.
Were your parents happy at the end of the night when they found out that your aunt and uncle had emotionally scarred their child?
Oh, they thought it was freaking hilarious.
Oh.
Up until I told them I needed a new change of pants, but yeah.
Your family's really superstitious like that, though, aren't they? Like in real life,
Most
aren't
of
they
them
scared of like witches and things like that?
I would say yes. I would say they believe in probably the supernatural. I mean, my immediate family, not so much, but yeah, a good portion of my family is kind of superstitious.
That's pretty. Gosh, I'm sorry, but your family, they're terrible.
Yeah, I know that. I still don't go down to the river at night.
So are you going to do this to your kids?
Absolutely.
100%.
All
Tradition.
right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
If you want a little bit more, we can talk a little bit more about other like Halloween things, candy or
Candy.
something. Or
Okay.
what are your plans for this Halloween?
That is the most generic Halloween stuff I've ever heard anyone say.
I love candy.
Candy is where it's at.
Exactly.
Is there anything that y'all really, really hated, but like you always had so much of it in your buckets when you were kids?
Not a lot of it, but whenever I got popcorn, I would rage like crazy. I don't know what it was. I got so irrationally mad when I got popcorn, though.
Well, you were like the kid in the Addams Family movies over the Malibu Barbie.
What a reference you just made. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Popcorn just drove me nuts. Oh, something I really hate: Milky Ways. It is just the worst candy. Like, I would rather throw it away than eat it.
They kind of taste like they want to be Three Musketeers, but they're not good enough.
And even Three Musketeers I don't like. It's like, why don't you just be a Snickers bar, please?
Grow some nuts.
Yeah, grow some nuts. Just, Milky Ways is the worst.
Yeah.
What about
I love
you?
me some Reese's.
Yes, and the Reese's Pieces, if you were lucky enough to get those.
Oh, yeah.
Jackpot, yes.
But I think nowadays, more and more adults, since more and more of them hate children, apparently, just don't want to give good candy to kids.
Yeah, they like give bags of chips.
Yeah, who wants fucking chips on Halloween?
Like,
Nice costume. Here's some Doritos. Get out of here now.
oh man, when I was a kid, I was like such like a little goody two shoes. I actually did take one piece of candy when the house that like left the candy out
Oh
for.
my god.
I actually took one piece.
Well, that's a good thing. You're not the jerk kid.
I wish I would have been the jerk kid. Looking back, I would have been the jerk kid.
She would have.
Do y'all remember the angry old ladies who would sit there with the bowl and they'd say, "I'm going to hand you the candy, the one piece of candy. You can't touch the bowl."
Like, we're gonna contaminate that bowl of candy. Like,
Yeah. Wouldn't even let you pick which one. No, she said, "No, you're getting this one. You're getting the circus peanuts."
peanuts.
That reminds me. My cousin and my brother one time they hung out in front of my grandma's place and taped themselves up like mummies. Like, they got masking tape and they wrapped their entire bodies and sat there and wait for kids to walk up to try and get candy and scared the living hell out of them. It was amazing to watch.
I'm sure the joke was on them when they had to take the costumes off.
They were not happy.
That's what I was just thinking about, taking them off.
They were not young, so they had plenty of facial hair to peel off.
Oh!
Oh, well, serves them right.
Yep.
What about you, Chris? Any candy you didn't like?
Taffy.
Ah, taffy.
Taffy taffy?
Really?
Most taffies. Well, let's see. Old people taffies, like saltwater taffy. Ew.
Oh, like the kind that's hardly any sugar in it at all?
Yes, exactly. Oh, and grandma candy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I like some grandma candy.
Oh, dude, I do not like. I'm talking like it actually comes in its own pre-packaged can. It has like mint and.
Yeah, like the wrapped strawberries that have been in that bowl for a year.
Oh.
Oh, I like those. And like the bank candy. Like, I liked that stuff.
The one grandma candy I will eat is butterscotch.
What about those the peanut butter ones that come in the striped like clear package thing?
Like the little wafer-ish candies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. I could like buy a bag of those right now. I'd just go to town.
I should go buy some.
I usually just, the thing for me, as far as candy on Halloween goes, it wasn't about eating it. It was about sorting it into piles. That was the fun part for me.
That's really weird.
I was going to say,
What?
you and I have two completely different definitions of fun.
I guess like, sorting it into good and bad, yeah. But
Well, just the good, the bad, the candy you want to eat now, the candy you're saving for later. You didn't do that?
Yeah, I did. No, I just dug in.
I dug in. And when I got to the point where I didn't want anything else, I would just like either give it away or throw it away. Because it's like, no. Bad. Bad.
Oh, did you ever go to like that one house that you were sure that was going to have the best selection? Where we live, there's like this one huge mansion, right? And
Oh,
this
really?
guy, yeah, he owns like a car shop, and like he's got
He owns
tons
a
of.
car museum.
He owns a car museum. I'm sorry, and it's free for people to go to. So he has like tons of money.
Cool.
He gave away Cheetos.
What?
Yeah.
Another chip person. Stop giving chips to children.
I was like, this is cool because it's Cheetos, but I'd much rather have a candy bar.
And Madeline, you should start this actually with a public service announcement. It is not cool to give chips to children on Halloween.
Okay, I'll open it with
Or pretzels or popcorn products.
popcorn products. What about popcorn?
No,
Okay.
go away. Get that weak ass shit away from me.
Oh, and no change, like pennies. Quarters are okay, not pennies.
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 That was a weird one when you get like money and they're like, sorry, we're out. So they'd
Yeah.
like give you some other things. Like, well, just turn your lights off.
Yeah.
I think they gave me a soda one time. That was cool, I guess.
For some reason, I just imagine you being like, thanks for wasting my time, throwing their penny on the ground and walking away.
In a really high-pitched voice. Thanks for wasting my time. Because that's how children sound.
Oh, how old were you when you stopped like trick or treating? I was like 15.
I was 12.
I don't remember how old I was. All I remember is I've always had my voice this deep. So
You still do it, don't you, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny. Was like I was 15 when I stopped trick or treating, but I was like 5'11". I was like really tall, so people thought I was much older than I was.
Oh, man. I hate those teenagers at the end of the night who bring their pillowcases, don't even have a costume on, and then they just expect me to give them a whole bowl of candy.
Oh, I don't give them candy.
Yeah. Go away.
Yeah, it's like the one time I live in the country, so nobody ever trick or treats me. But I used to stay with my sister, and whenever like teenagers would come by, you know, usually when the kids came by, I let them have a handful. But if the teenagers came by, I just gave them like the crappy Milky Ways that I didn't want.
And the popcorn products and pennies.
Excuse me, I need to go get you some popcorn real quick. Yeah.
And chips.
Chip.
Man, I just realized Halloween is like the one holiday where people can really be nice to each other.
What about Christmas?
No, people are usually assholes.
People are dicks during Christmas. I remember one time when I worked at Walmart, this guy was leaving the store, and I told him Happy Holidays. Not something that anyone told me to say. I was just strictly being nice. He goes, "This is America. It's okay to say Merry Christmas."
They always get so uppity when you say that.
I know. It's like I'm choosing to say that myself.
I always like to confuse people with Merry Holiday. And they would look at me like, yes.
Chris is the master of the deadpan face.
Yes. It's funny is when he's like, he realizes he said something wrong. Like, the first time he said Merry Holiday, it was a complete accident. But he just deadpanned it. And he had like a Santa, no, what did you have on? Was it like an elf hat or something?
No, I think I had a Santa hat on.
How did we get onto the topic of Christmas?
Because it's the most magical time of the year. I can't wait for the Christmas podcast.
I actually disagree. I would say Halloween now, I'm thinking in retrospect, is the most magical holiday because it actually brings people together.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to Christmas. Christmas tears people apart.
It'd be great is if you could wear Halloween costumes to school, like when you were a kid.
I did that.
We only did that like in kindergarten. They didn't let us do it like in high school or elementary school. I do it now.
They get very serious in high school.
Oh, yeah, for some reason they're like, don't you bring your satanic costume to school? And it's like, what?
Well, it's probably because they expect you to just be wearing horns and some pasties.
How did you know my Halloween costume for this year? Seriously.
I'm the pasties.
What are y'all dressing up for this year?
That is definitely something I'm thinking about right now. What did I have an idea?
Ooh.
Oh, I had this really funny idea of me, surprisingly back to Little Mermaid, of me being Ariel and then Chris being that rock that she sings on top of.
Why don't y'all go as the Shining Twins?
Oh, that would be weird with his beard.
People would be like, I don't are you supposed to be the same person? First of all, you're brown, you're white, and he's really hairy.
You gotta, rehearse your talking at the same time.
Oh.
We actually do that already, so that's no problem.
We do.
For anyone listening out there, just in case you didn't gather from the implications, Chris and Julianne are a couple.
Yep, a couple of siblings. Yeah.
Quit telling people that, 'cause people seriously believe that and get freaked out when like we kiss each other.
That's my favorite, is to be like, oh yeah, we're just step siblings, or something very similar to that, and then just proceed to make out with Chris aggressively.
She actually forces herself on me. It's not funny.
Well, I think whether you say your siblings or not, making out aggressively in public is gonna get you weird looks. Just punch him in the face and kiss him.
Yes, that's what I do.
Scream, "Why don't you love me?" right before you do it.
What about you, Madeline? What are you dressing up as?
I'm probably not dressing up in it as anything. I'm probably gonna be at work.
You can't dress up at work?
Well, I can, but it's like I still have to wear my uniform too. So I could put some glitter on my face and a stupid hat, but
Or you work at you're like a receptionist, something like that?
yeah, front desk at a hotel. Speaking of which, got a good story.
Cool, yeah.
Last year, when I first started working here, I'd been there a month. Halloween night, I'm working, of course, from 2 to 10. It's 8:30 at night, and it gets dark that time of year, real early. And on the main TV in the lobby, I've got Halloween playing. And there was a huge, crashing sound at the end of the hall. So I had to lock the door at the desk. We hardly had anyone in the hotel that night. And when I'm going down the hall, there's, a light flashing to the side because the bulb needs to be replaced. Oh. And the Halloween theme song is playing.
Amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you were just, completely set up in a horror movie situation.
Yeah.
Next time we do this, you should actually ask Julianne about the strange events that surrounded us as soon as we finished watching the movie Paranormal Activity.
Oh.
Oh, gosh.
The last scary movie I saw,
the last one.
I ever choose to go see, in theaters or anything.
She went, the only reason she saw that is because Dave and Buster's followed soon after. The only reason she went.
Only reason I went.
She actually made me call in sick. I was sick, actually. I'm sorry. I'm getting off topic.
Paranormal Activity is a good movie. I don't care what people say.
It was scary. It scared the pants out of me. That part where, the picture frame, it's, cracked, but there's a scratch on the actual picture, that scared the shit out of me.
That's one of those movies where you have a character that you're yelling at the entire film.
I was so angry at him the whole time.
Stop messing with them.
It's everything would stop, and then it'd be well, I'm gonna go get the Ouija board.
Oh, man. That was the one part of the movie that, cracked me up, was when she's like, I told you not to get a Ouija board, and you buy the most fucking perfect-looking Ouija board I've ever seen. It was, full on. Wasn't one of those crappy dollar store ones. It was, made out of wood.
Imagine she was like, where'd you get this? People don't sell these anymore.
We're in Central Texas. Where are they? Are they in California in that movie?
Probably.
Everything's in California.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think that's a good place to stop the episode this week. But what would y'all like to talk about next time? I
think next time, what I'd like to talk about, because I noticed that the movie The Witches is on HBO. So.
Oh, the real doll one?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about maybe childhood scary movies.
Childhood scary movies. Okay, that's cool. So next week or whenever we record the next podcast, it'll be The Witches. And you know what? I want to talk about Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when it comes to my time, I totally want to get on some Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone is awesome.
Twilight Zone is a whole episode itself.
Yeah. So Twilight Zone will have to be the episode after our next episode.
Well, Chris, you gonna come up with it later?
Yeah, I will get back to you on that.
Okay, so in our thing, I'll just say 2 children's movies and then a mystery movie. Because Chris couldn't come up with anything. Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye.
Is that what we're doing? We're doing a song?
That's just the thing we do sometimes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.